Right, we all saw the announcements. We all saw the new developments of Avengers Doomsday. So let's talk about it. And this video is going to be kind of a recap as well because I will talk about the initial announcement video with the chairs, and I will talk about the trailers that were later released. So we will talk about pretty much everything in this video. So yeah, this is going to be a bit of different video than I usually do on this channel. This is going to be more of a ranting, scriptless video, similar to my spoiler-free reviews of movies, but it's just it's just more of a rant, really, than anything. Now, when they initially announced that they were canceling the Kang Dynasty, I was a bit skeptical, but part of me was a bit relieved because what do you mean the next big bad is gonna be the same person that was taken down by ants in Ant-Man Quantumania, right? That doesn't really sell the whole next big bad of a cinematic universe. But at the same time, I feel like they could have just kept the Kang Dynasty idea because, well, first of all, they could have just said, "Hey, it's going to be a different version of Kang, not related to Ant-Man Quantumania. It's going to be a different version, and they're going to fight like maybe multiple variants, as hinted in the end of Ant-Man Quantumania when the Kangs all gathered together." But they decided to not do that for some reason, and I would have even looked forward to having Kang on the big screen in an Avengers movie because it would have been his first time ever to be in a movie other than Ant-Man Quantumania. It's going to be his first time ever to be the main big bad of an Avengers film, which never happened before, I think. I mean, maybe it did happen like an animated movie or anything, but I'm talking about like live action Avengers movies. He was never a big bad, so having something new was interesting to me. And to hear that they canceled it was like, again, I was pretty relieved, but at the same time I was pretty confused and a bit upset that they canceled it. It would have been an interesting movie to see. All they had to do was just recast Kang. Like, it was that simple, man. Like, you did it with Edward Norton, you did it with Don Cheadle, and I don't remember the first War Machine's actor. I think his name was Terrence or Terry, something like that. I'm sorry if he's watching this video. I don't remember your. I'm bad with names. But again, you recasted the Hulk with Edward Norton and you casted Mark Ruffalo instead. You recast War Machine and got Don Cheadle instead. So how come this is where you draw the line, right? That's what's confusing to me. Like, yeah, I get it. You introduced multiple variants of basically him being the same actor. But again, you could have just retconned that and said, actually, no, it's been this actor this entire time, or something, again, similar to what you did with the Hulk and War Machine. But I digress. The announcement then came that they're gonna do Avengers Doomsday instead, which focuses on Doctor Doom, who is going to be played by Robert Downey Jr. And I've multiple times expressed how I'm uninterested in that, to put it lightly. Like, you could have casted anyone for Doctor Doom. You could have even cast someone of the same ethnicity as Doctor Doom. But nope, you just got Robert Downey Jr. again because, nostalgia, money, big dollars, big dollar signs. But whatever, man. Like, I don't know why they had to go with that route. They could have there was no wrong answers, and yet somehow they chose the wrong answer. And I feel like they did that with everything related to this movie, at least based on what they showed us so far. This could have been a slam dunk of a movie, but somehow it feels like they've done everything wrong. Because not only was Robert Downey Jr. coming in as Doctor Doom, but all the previous X-Men, or not all the previous, like some of the major players of the X-Men of the previous Fox movies are coming back to this one. You have Professor X, you have Magneto, you have Cyclops, and I think there was like a couple more characters that I don't remember. You got Gambit coming back from Deadpool and Wolverine, and you got, oh yeah, it was Mystique. You got Cyclops, Mystique, Magneto, Professor X from the Fox X-Men, and you got Gambit from Deadpool and Wolverine. And then they announced that they're bringing back. I think it was after that they announced they're bringing back Chris Evans Captain America or something like that, which is kind of weird considering we already do have a Captain America in Sam Wilson. Now, if the idea of another version of Captain America coming in wouldn't have been really all that surprising in a movie like Secret Wars, but in Avengers Doomsday is kind of weird. But I that's just the decision they chose to go with, which makes this movie feel more of a Avengers versus X-Men type of storyline, where you have the well, technically it's Avengers versus Fantastic Four versus X-Men, maybe. Because yes, you have the Fantastic Four coming in after their successful movie, or at least it's successful in my eyes. And you have the Sam Wilson Avengers, who I have no clue who's on that team, by the way. Like, I know it's the new Falcon from Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV show after Sam Wilson became Captain America again. And you have the actual, like, Avengers of Yelena, Bob, and the others from the Thunderbolts movies that I don't remember off the top of my head. And then you have the X-Men, as I said, where you have the main big bad of Doctor Doom. Now, again, the whole casting thing doesn't really feel that interesting to me. It just feels like more of the same. Like, and not in a good way, too. Like, yeah, I'm glad we have a new Captain America, but he didn't get his chance to shine, and we're immediately coming back with the old Captain America, or the actor that played an old Captain America in the movie. We just recovered from Iron Man's death in Avengers Endgame, because they all had that whole thing in Spider-Man Far From Home, where where people were trying to force Spider-Man to be the next Iron Man or something like that, and you have basically no form of Iron Man successor until Ironheart came along, and people hated that show, and season two's been canceled, and she's not even in the movie. So what's that all about? And you have Spider-Man, who has not been cast, or like Tom Holland has not been cast in this movie, which is weird considering you have Brand New Day coming soon, which I'm much looking forward to. By the way, very excited for that movie. And you don't have actual captains anymore, other than Captain America. You don't have Captain Marvel in the movie, who was very important to the team in Avengers Endgame. Like, yes, her movie wasn't a huge success, but or not her movie, the sequel, where she had Miss Marvel with her and Monica Rambeau, who, by the way, did end up in the Fox X-Men universe at the end of that movie, and she's nowhere to be seen too in Avengers Doomsday. She's not been cast. Her actress has not been cast for some reason. And even if this is a whole like multiverse movie, like if this is another multiverse movie, which it does seem to be, there's no sign of America Chavez, who's been in a multiverse movie with Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch, who are also not cast in the movie. Which is very strange if this is a multiverse movie. You have the character that can literally travel throughout the multiverse without any issues, not present in a multiverse movie. Like, again, you have Shang-Chi, which I am happy that they remembered, by the way, like 5 years too late, with no follow-up since his movie. And you cast him for this one, but you didn't cast anybody else. And what about Moon Knight? We haven't seen him since his TV show. Are we ever going to see Moon Knight again? Are we ever going to see She-Hulk again? Is the Hulk going to be in this movie since he's going to be in Brand New Day? We don't know because I don't know. They're just prioritizing nostalgia instead of actual story. But again, they and by actual story I mean they don't have an explanation for why these characters are missing. Like Spider-Man: Brand New Day will probably show us why they're not going to be present in the movie, or maybe they're not even going to do that. We don't know yet. But assuming that it doesn't show, then how are they going to explain why people like Hulk and Spider-Man are not going to be in Avengers Doomsday? If what's her name, Monica Rambeau is not going to show up, how are they going to explain that? If characters like again America Chavez, who has been training in the Sanctum Sanctorum, if she's not going to show up, then why is that? Why is Doctor Strange someone who has like mystical senses and he detected some like again in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, where he said he detected Wanda's activity in Westworld? Why is he not going to show up when the movie happens? Because again, you have to think about this when you make a multiversal story or a story in the cinematic universe. You have to explain why certain characters don't show up in a big event. Like yeah, okay, if you let's say you have like like a cinematic universe where everybody is decent, right? And then you have like I don't know, a solo movie for Spider-Man. Then you don't have to explain why if someone like Human Torch, for example, doesn't show up in a Spider-Man movie, right? Because again, a Spider-Man movie is not going to be a spectacle world-ending event, right? Unless you're going to do something like Insomniac and do in Spider-Man 2 with Venom trying to take over the world, then it's questionable why the Avengers don't show up or the X-Men. I mean, I guess it's been explained that the X-Men don't exist, but again, we don't see the other heroes showing up. There is a Baxter building in the Insomniac universe, but they don't explain why the Fantastic Four doesn't show up yet. Nelson and Murdoch have a law firm, but they don't explain why Daredevil doesn't show up in the final event or like the final fight of the game, or at least we don't even see glimpses of him, or at least even references to him helping him out in the final event or like the third act of the game, even if it's just in the background helping civilians. So again, when you make something that's interconnected like this, you have to think of reasons why certain characters don't show up, especially when they're introduced to have certain abilities, like America Chavez, like Scarlet Witch, like Doctor Strange. Though I think Scarlet Witch has been confirmed to be killed off in Multiverse of Madness. I'm still not so sure about that though. But hey, if it's confirmed, then who am I to argue with, right? So when you have these characters show up again, like X-Men, they don't even have Storm, right? You have Cyclops, Professor X, Magneto, and Mystique from the Fox X-Men. You don't even have Storm, right? Who is one of the most important characters of the X-Men. For some reason, she's not showing up. Is why is Jean Grey not going to show up? I can't even use the excuse of oh because she died in this movie or that movie. Can I just tell you that Professor X died in multiple movies, and he's even coming back? Why is Wolverine not going to be included, or Deadpool? Because again, they did have like they did end Deadpool and Wolverine with them chilling out together. So maybe that's why they're not going to show up. But again, they both live in the Fox X-Men universe, or at least that's what according to what the movies said multiple times, because that's the reason the whole movie played out was because Wade or Deadpool lives in the Fox X-Men universe that was slowly dying after the movie Logan, where Logan died. I guess I should have said spoilers if you haven't seen that movie yet. But like, come on, man. If you've seen Deadpool and Wolverine, surely you would have seen this coming. Anyway, so again, you have to explain why certain characters aren't involved. Which brings me to my point of why are certain characters involved? Why is Chris Evans here? Like, even even on the poster, he's not even Captain America or anything. He's just a regular dude. He's just in a normal shirt. Why is he here? And if he's gonna be Captain America, why? We already have Falcon Captain America, or at least what's his name? We have Sam Wilson Captain America. Why do we need why do we need Chris Evans, Steve Rogers back as Captain America? We don't. Like, if you're gonna bring it back, save him for Secret Wars, which makes the most sense for different variants and like other characters to show up. But Avengers Doomsday just doesn't feel like that sort of movie. Like, yes, it's multiversal, but it doesn't look like they're gonna bring in variants of other characters. And it doesn't look like they're gonna do anything meaningful with that. He's just there. So again, I ask, why is this guy in the movie? If he's gonna be if he's gonna be Steve Rogers, why? We don't need Steve Rogers in the movie. And which brings me to my next point, coincidentally, of the reports saying that Doctor Doom will be obsessed with Steve Rogers instead of Mr. Fantastic. Why? Brother, you are whose bright idea was this? If this is true, like Doctor Doom, the notorious arch enemy of Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four, will not be interested in Reed Richards. Are you kidding me? How does that even make any sense? That's like saying the Joker is gonna be obsessed with, I don't know, Jimmy Olsen instead of Batman. How does that make any sense? Bro, that's like saying Lex Luthor is gonna obsess over Alfred instead of Superman. That's like saying Shazam. That's like saying Black Adam is gonna obsess over Superman instead of Shazam. That's like saying Black Adam is gonna be obsessed over Superman instead of Shazam. Oh wait, that did happen. Um. Anyway, so yeah, people are not happy about it. I'm not happy about it. I feel like they could have just continued on with the original plan of Kang Dynasty. Original plan. What am I saying? They could have just continued the original plan of Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars and just wrapped it up. Like, yes, it didn't make sense for them to release two Avengers movies in the same year. One of them was obviously going to be delayed, but I feel like they abandoned the idea too soon. Was it going to be a good one? Probably not, but at least it would have been less of a cash nostalgia grab than Avengers Doomsday. Secret Wars is, well, given the impression I've gotten from this movie, or from the announcements of Avengers Doomsday, is that it's also gonna be a cameo nostalgia fest. I mean, not necessarily nostalgia, but it was definitely gonna be like mostly cameos and little to no story. Like, yeah, you can see characters returning, like Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, obviously Deadpool and Wolverine, and I wouldn't put it past them trying to stuff in more cameos, like say a Tom Cruise Iron Man or something like that, since Tom Cruise was initially auditioning to be Iron Man before Marvel settled with Robert Downey Jr. Or not settled. That sounds a bit harsh. Before Marvel decided to go with Robert Downey Jr., I wouldn't put it past them bringing back old variants, I guess, with other characters or like other variants with other characters, like say like a true Fox X-Men, maybe even Storm, maybe even something else. I don't know. But yeah, I can definitely see Secret Wars being a whole cameo stuffed movie with little focus on the plot, which is the impression that is given to me by Avengers Doomsday's current developments. Like they're trying to aim at mostly nostalgia and, well, I guess this is more of a recap now, that they're aiming for more of a nostalgia focused group and people who don't really care about how the MCU develops, they just want more of the same. It sounds a bit mean, it sounds a bit harsh, but this is just the reality, I guess. It doesn't explain anything else other than that, or like these two reasons are the only logical ones, to me at least, as to why they're bringing back Captain America. It's because people don't like, is because some people don't like Captain America, Sam Wilson, and that's mostly Marvel's fault because they haven't really given Captain America Sam Wilson a chance to shine. They've given him a mediocre TV show, and that's it. No movie, no anything. And his first ever movie as Captain America is is in the same movie where Marvel are bringing back, or probably bringing back Steve Rogers, which is just a bad choice, really. You've introduced a new character and you're immediately bringing back old characters without giving the new characters a new chance to shine. That's just bad decision making. Honestly, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. That's just bad decision making. And again, no Captain Marvel in sight is strange. No America Chavez in sight is strange, though I guess it would have been even more strange if she won't show up in Secret Wars or if she's not announced to be in Secret Wars. If she's not going to be announced in Secret Wars along with someone like Doctor Strange, then it's going to be really weird because, again, America Chavez is one of the few people who can actually cross the multiverse without any issues. Because, again, it's part of her powers, so if she's not going to show up in Secret Wars, it's just going to be weird overall. I just hope that these two movies are over with and they can actually reboot with a full connected MCU with everybody already existing. You have an already established Avengers and already established X-Men or established Fantastic Four, etc., etc. I would love for a reboot where I guess I can only say it feels like Lego Marvel superheroes, right? Where everybody already exists, everybody already know each other, and they just go on adventures and team up. I guess that's the only way I can explain that. But that's just all the ranting I have, really. To recap the recap, I'm not really happy with Avengers Doomsday's development so far. They feel like they're trying to aim for nostalgia mostly than just an actual story. The casting of Doctor Doom is questionable. The recent rumors surrounding it of Doctor Doom being obsessed with Steve Rogers instead of his arch enemy is is weird, and I hope it's not true. And just bringing back the old Captain America in general is just a bad idea, especially when you just introduced a new Captain America and all you have to show for it is a mediocre TV show. And no America Chavez is kind of crazy, and no Storm, no Jean Grey is kind of crazy. But yeah, that's all I have to today. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. And that's pretty much all I have to say. Take care of yourselves, everyone. Goodbye for now.